Hey guys, so now I'm in the house after my adventurous day um outside. Sorry for showing legs and all that stuff. But I'm in the house and I have my best friend with me, some wine. And by the way, you guys can purchase this wine. Let me see. You guys can purchase this wine. It's called Winking Owl for $3.45 at Aldi. So, and it actually doesn't give you like a headache or anything like that. It's actually pretty good, which I don't know. I just discovered it. It's cheaper for what I'm looking for now. Like, I don't like to speak brokenness into existence, but it's budget friendly. I'm going to say that. It's budget friendly and it does what it needs to do. They have different varieties. But, anyways, this is not an advertisement for the wine. I just decided to pour some. Sorry. Like, I still have glue left on me from work. It's hard to come off when I bathe. But anyway, I wanted to share with you guys why I relocated from Boston to Alabama, Mobile to be exact. When I was in Boston, like first off, I grew up in Boston. Like majority of my childhood was like in Boston, and excuse me, and I pretty much just wanted to move somewhere different, like step outside my comfort zone, step outside of like people are messaging me on Instagram. But anyway, step outside of my comfort zone, step outside of what I was used to, and just kind of explore different areas of life and grow. So to prepare for my move, which I talked myself out of it like so many times. It's ridiculous because I've been wanting to move like years and years ago. I thought about Puerto Rico. I thought about Atlanta. I was even gonna move to Mexico. Like my mind was just all over the place because I had put away a decent amount of savings. Well, anyway, I met someone and they kind of, I don't know, steered me off path, which I guess that was a lesson that I needed to learn. My eyes are low because I'm tired. Not only am I tired, I'm sipping. But yeah, so I wanted to just explore different options. So I started preparing. Once the pandemic hit, like it kind of helped me push because obviously not everyone, but most people were receiving money from the pandemic, right? So I started preparing. I had saved up a decent amount of money, which I'll go over that. It ended up not being so decent of an amount, but you can never be too prepared. So I figured if I didn't go, then I would never go. Like if I didn't make this move, I would never make this move. So for the first step that I've done, I didn't write any notes. Sorry, guys. I may be all over the place, but the point is to like put my experience out there so maybe I can help other moms, other single moms, or just people in general who are thinking about relocating. So I ended up putting away money first and foremost. Like I was just trying to budget financially of what I thought would be fine. So I had like my emergency funds for like 3 to 6 months and all those things, but the money went out fast. It's okay. You will never be too prepared. So damn, I'm over here a raggedy ass mess, and yes, I cuss, but I'm thugging it out, but that's okay. So anyway, so I put money to the side at first, and at the time I was going through so many things. Like I have 2 older teenagers who, by the way, did not make this transition with me. My daughter, she's an adult now. She was just like, I want to go off and do my own thing, which broke my heart. But at the end of the day, her dad was like, very supportive and was like, you're going to have to just let her go and learn on her own like you did, And then my son, he was staying with his dad. He had moved with his dad like a year previously, before I had moved here, and I was sad because that's my only son and that's my baby, like all my babies. But I knew that I couldn't keep prolonging this journey. And sometimes you have to fall down, you have to fail and scrape your knees a few times before you get the rhythm of things, and that's okay. That's what life is all about. So I ended up, I know I say I'm a lot. I'm not really used to being in front of the camera, but I ended up packing up my stuff, packing up my house. I lived in housing. Although it was housing in Boston, it can be expensive still. Living in Boston is expensive. I'm not going to go into those details. But I just wanted to get out. I keep saying that. But it was that detrimental that I got out. So I packed up all my things because I was like, if I don't pack, then I'm not going to leave. I'm going to just keep making excuses of why I need to be here and all those things. So I was like, if I don't pack, I'm not going to leave. So I just packed up my whole entire house, and I was just like, what am I doing? Packing up my stuff, like, freaked me out. I just couldn't believe, like, that I was actually taking steps to making this move. So then, after I packed up all my stuff, and I was looking for houses, homes and apartments in Mobile. I was like, okay, I gotta find somewhere. And at the time, my credit was decent. My credit was decent, but I was not working. I only had savings. So I was like, damn, am I gonna give them like a big chunk of money before I leave? Or like, how am I gonna do this? So I ended up packing up all my stuff, and then I applied to apartment complex. One place denied me, and then the next place accepted me, because I kept saying in my head, like, if it's just one place that accepts me, I'm going to go. I'm going to just move, and I'm just gonna wing it. And I have one sibling here that lives here. So that was my sister, and she was like, are you gonna come? Are you gonna come? Are you gonna come? Guys, got everything situated. Had a moving date here in Mobile, and the day that I was gonna move, guess what? Car broke down. Literally, I packed up the car and everything. It was an older car. Car broke down. I had a car previous before that I paid like $10,000 cash. It was trash. It was a lemon, and I had to go through court. All these things is happening while I'm preparing to move, like in months. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, this is the year time that I was moving. No, in months, like 3-month span, I was going to court for a lemon that was sold to me. Didn't even get all my money back. I had to find a different way out. And it's like, when the devil is trying to discourage you, like, all these things will happen to stop you. Like, all these things will happen to stop you. Or I don't know, whatever you guys believe in. But for me, like, I pray, I believe in God. I'm spiritual as well. But this is how I grew up, and I respect everyone else's vision as well. But for me, like, I just felt like the devil was busy. The devil was busy. So I was like, oh my God, my car broke down. So what am I gonna do? So I was like, I have to go and rent a car. Like, nothing's gonna stop me. I have to rent a car. So now I took my credit card to rent a car. My sister helped me out with that. Now I rented a car, packed up all the stuff in this. I had an SUV, which that worked out perfectly. Drove my ass all the way to Alabama. Just me, myself, and my baby girl, which she's 11. She's like awesome. She was like, Mommy, it's okay. We're gonna be able to do it. She cheered me on the whole entire way. I don't know what I would do, like, if she was not by my side, because I just wanted this move so badly. And her dad helped, like, get rid of so much stuff. I wasn't even selling stuff, which I would advise that you sell stuff. Like, don't just give your stuff away. I was giving away brand new TV, all kind of stuff. Like, stuff, I would have had, like, so much more money. So much more. If I wasn't just like careless and like, here, like so anxious to get out. But whatever, I blessed other people. That's okay, you know? So I moved down here, no job. Just some savings, last for a little bit. I had a place. I paid for my place. And then things started happening with like family and stuff like that. It was just crazy. So now I was like, okay, I had to return the rental. Guess what? No car, no job. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I started applying to any and everything because I was like, I have to have money coming in because this money is not going to last forever. By the way, when I moved down here, I bought like $12,000 with me. And I paid like my rent. I didn't have to pay first and last. I didn't even pay a deposit now that I think about it. I just paid to move in the place or whatever. They waived my deposit fees and everything, which like God will help you along the way. When you're worried, when you're discouraged, when you don't know what you're gonna do, like God will help you. The universe will give to you. All you have to do is believe and keep moving. As long as you put in the work, like people will come out from anywhere and help you. So boom. I was like, what am I gonna do? So I started walking around my neighborhood. Mind you, anyone who's from Alabama, like especially Mobile, you really can't get around without a car. Like you can, but it's not like when you're in Boston, you can move how you want to move. You can do whatever you want to do. Like you don't need a car. You can get around on a bike. You can get around a train. You can get around on a bus. Here it's not like that. It's a whole different ball game. Like they have Uber, but you're gonna wait for the Uber. I don't even think they have Lyft. I remember one time I ordered like a Lyft or something. They canceled on me. Like it's just Boston, 3 minutes, your Lyft is here, you out the door. So anyway, so I ended up packing up. I ended up moving in my place. And I remember just being in a place like so sad, crying, like, what am I gonna do? I had to find a job. I was just applying online, and I was in a place not even a week, and I was like, I gotta go back home. Like, I can't do this. And I was speaking to some family and some friends, and they were like, no, you're okay. And then some family was like, yeah, you should go back. Like, you had everything already in Boston. You had family there. Just go back. And I was just like, oh, y'all are right. I'm taking my ass back home. So guess what I did? Took another credit card, went, got a rental, packed up all my shit. Like, what? I'm going to leave a place that I already paid for, like, already breaking the lease, just doing the most. So I didn't believe in myself enough, so boom, packed up my stuff, went back to Boston, tried to get my old apartment back. Like, huh? When I got back there, as I'm driving back, I'm on the phone with my friend, which is also my neighbor. Like, that's Monica, I love you. But anyway, like, that's my girl. That was my neighbor for 16 years. Like, we made it out the mud. So I'm on the phone with her, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm on my way back. She was like, honestly, I think you should have stayed there and thug it out. Like, you got this. You've been wanting to move. Like, what do you come back here? I'm like, no. I got to come back. So I go back, and as I'm driving back, I'm like in Worcester or some shit. I'm like so close to home, like 40 minutes from home. And my friend tells me, oh, maintenance look like they're changing the lock. I'm like, because I kept emailing the housing people. I kept doing all this stuff because I still had a key. But also my ex had dropped off a key because he was helping me, right? He helped like clear out the house. Like, he's awesome. He always has my back. He helped clear out the house because I had left like so much stuff in the house, and he had went and cleaned the house from top to bottom. Like, he had his friends in there cleaning. They were just helping me. Like, everybody was just helping me, okay? Because I was just overwhelmed and stressed about the drive. It took 23 hours to drive here. Like, and I didn't do it straight, obviously. I stopped, but it was just like a lot on my plate. And then leaving my kids and leaving home, like leaving everything that I pretty much grew up knowing. So anyway, I ended up going back. I went to go turn the key to get in the door, and next thing you know, the door is not opening. I'm like, I just drove, so I'm like, oh my God, like when Monday comes, I have to go, because I drove down on the weekend. So I'm like, when Monday comes, I have to go to the office. I have to speak to somebody. Like, they cannot just give up my place like that. I was on a waiting list for this place. Like, I was in a shelter for this place. Like, they cannot give up my place. They cannot give up my place. So, but technically, I was just tripping because I gave them a notice. It wasn't my place anymore, right? I was just like, my mind was all over the place. So I go and I'm like, hey, I've been calling, I've been emailing, which they were ignoring me on purpose. They were being shady. They would discriminate and stuff like that. give their family housing and whatever. Like, Boston's expensive, so if you knew somebody working housing, like, they skip you past the waiting list. Forget the people in the shelter. Forget the homeless. Like, my sister needs a place. They'll throw you in there or whatever the case may be. So it was a lot of little discriminative things going on, which all us Black people, and I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but had we come together and unified together, like, we could have gotten things done as a unit. But everybody was scared, like, I don't want to lose my housing. I don't want to, which is understandable. Like, when you are in, it kind of keeps you stagnant. And that was one thing that I didn't like. I was like, I moved in this place when I was 19. Like, this is holding me back. This is keeping me stagnant. Like, I have so many skills and so many things that I want to do out of life. And as long as I'm staying here, like, I'm not gonna be motivated to push and get what I need, because I have too many shoulders to lean on. You can't. I mean, I'm not saying that you cannot have support and stuff like that, but you have to step out of your comfort zone. If you want more out of life, you have to do something different. You can't do the same thing over and over again and be like, oh my God, why isn't things changing? It don't work like that. So anyway, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna step outside my comfort zone. But really, I turned my ass back around. Now I'm back there. I'm like, oh my God, now I'm here. It was like every crackhead in the neighborhood was out in the street. Like, that weekend, I was like, I ain't never seen so many crackheads. Like, Methadone Mile was crazy. I lived near Methadone Mile in Boston. Like, Google it, YouTube it. It's crazy. All the crackheads was out, right? I'm like, damn, all the crackheads, would they kick all of them out the shelter at the same time this weekend? Like, it was crazy. They was just walking around like zombies. And my friend was like, what you want to come back here for this for? Like, this is what you coming back here for? I'm like, I know. It was just like, it was crazy. I'm walking out, I'm stepping over needles and shit. Like, oh my God, why did I come? And it's crazy because they have like an elite part where I was staying, and then there's another place that's like close by that there's just all the crackheads and all the fiends, and everybody was just out, and it was just crazy. Stepping over needles, and you saying excuse me to crackheads smoking crack as you coming out of your apartment, and it was just crazy. It just kept getting worse and worse. So anyway, I was like, no, I cannot do this. I gotta go back, because clearly I don't have nowhere to stay. My sister was like, oh, mind you, I have 5 sisters. So one of my sisters, she was like, no, stop saying that you're gonna be homeless. Like, you have a place to stay. You can stay with me. I was like, yeah, I have a place to stay. It's back in Alabama. Like, I paid to stay there. So I was like, I gotta go back. So I get back in the car. Well, I rented another car. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drive back. My other sister was like, no, it's too much of a drive. Just leave your stuff. You know who you are. I should never listen to your ass, sister. Because now I don't have half of my stuff. But anyway, she's like, just leave your stuff. We'll ship it. You know, get on the plane. I'll pay for your plane ticket. Pay me back later. You spend too much money coming, which I appreciate that. But I left my stuff, and none of my stuff has been shipped. I got to drive back now. But, well, but it wasn't me just being discouraged. So now I drive and I fly to Florida. I don't even fly to Alabama. I fly to Florida. And now I have to take a taxi, $200. I'm living off of savings. That could have been some bills. But anyway, so I just going back home. I'm in this empty place with no furniture, no nothing. I go to Walmart. I'm like, I gotta get us some blood mattress or something. Like, I have carpet, but still, like, who wants to sleep on carpet? I'm like, my baby is not used to this. Like, this is giving ghetto. So I went and got us some cheap air mattresses. I'm like, okay, now I need to put my mind to it, and I need to find a job. Because if I don't get a job, I'm gonna be screwed. So I started walking. I was like, fuck this shit. Like, we're in the South. Somebody gonna hire me, right? So I walked into a place, and I was like, hey, you know, I seen a sign. It was for hire sign at this hotel near my housing complex. And I was like, oh, I could walk to work here. You really don't want to walk nowhere. Nobody really walks unless you're crazy. But I was like, oh, I can walk here until I figured out. So boom, I get the job there. The lady's like, you can, Jada May. Thanks to her, she gave me a job, took me in. She knew that I wasn't from here. She knew that I didn't have any family from here. She took me in, and her family took me and my daughter, and like they made us feel comfortable and loved and all those things. She gave me a job, and then one day, after I was working there for like a few months, she was like, hey, such and such is hiring, which was a really good place to work. She was like, you need to go and apply there, because it wasn't just work, it was actually a career. And for me, like, I have certification in culinary art. So really, like, I was at first looking for like kitchens and stuff. Even sometimes in the hotel, I would run the kitchen and stuff like that. So, but I need to make like some real money, and I didn't want to be managing anybody or anything like that, even though I was applying for like different positions. But I needed somewhere where I'm going to be like comfortable for a while until I start my own business, right? So, and that's my thing, like cooking is my passion, which I will be cooking on here for you guys sometimes, like sharing some recipes and meals, but another time. So anyway, she gave me that job, and then I went to apply for the other job that she told me about, and I got in, and I was like, this is what I needed. So I've been working there ever since. I love it. It's an apprenticeship, so I'm learning as I'm working. And although, yeah, it's not like this big amount at first, you know, you're not making all the money in the world, it's still a blessing and a privilege to be there. And everything came together and worked out, you know, everything kind of binded together and worked out. And before I left home, I was receiving like food stamps and Social Security and all these things for my kids and stuff like that. Obviously, you move, they start cutting shit off. What are you gonna do, you know? So I was just like, you know, I have to trust the process and trust God. Some things that I would change is I would have done it sooner. I would have done it a lot sooner, but I would have planned a little bit better. I can't really say that anything didn't go as planned, because even like when I got the job at the hotel, I know I be doing like crazy, be looking like I'm doing gang signs. But and I'm probably not even gonna edit this. But anyway, I ended up getting a car. My old manager, she helped me with that, because I was like, I need a car, I'm walking to work. They would be laughing at me like at work, because I was like so determined to get to work. I'll be crossing this big 4-lane road, like I gotta get to work. Like I didn't care, because at the end of the day, I have to pay my bills. Like I have to feed my baby. And my older 2 kids, they're fine. Like I have family who's helping out with them, and they have their little jobs and stuff like that. And I wasn't so worried about that, because they're in their comfort zone too, and I know like I have support. I was more so like, I have my baby here, like I need to make her feel comfortable. I need to make her feel, because she doesn't understand like being out of her comfort zone, right? She doesn't have friends here. Now she does. Now she's made all the friends in the world, right? But when we first came here, when you feel some type of way inside, whether it's happy, sad, excited, right? Your kids feel those emotions. And I didn't want her to feel my sadness at the time. I didn't want her to feel like I dragged her out of her comfort zone to be sad and depressed and just all those things. Like, my kids are my heart. Anybody who knows me knows that. My kids are my heart. And I'm pretty sure it's like that for a lot of people, not just moms, like a lot of men and women. So I knew I had to make it for her. At least I had to try. And people will like discover, like, another thing that I would do differently is don't tell everybody what you're doing. Like, don't. Because I was like, oh, I'm just gonna tell my friend. Oh. And some people I didn't tell. I was like, fuck them. Like, I'm leaving. I'm not saying anything to them. Like, they will help me with it. But then some people you think that are really genuinely for you, they will discourage you. They will talk you out of it. Oh, I don't think you should do that. Oh, because they're fearful. They wouldn't do it, right? So they're going to try to tell you, don't do that. You're going to be homeless. You're going to be in the street. But really, it's like, you have to walk by faith sometimes and not by sight. You cannot listen to people when they start projecting their fears onto you. Like, you will never do anything in life. You will never prosper because those are the people who look at me talking about God and prosper and all that stuff. And I'm drinking wine, but Jesus drank wine too, right? It's refreshing. But anyway, so yeah, don't listen to people. Do what you set your mind to. You can do it. Whether you have one child, whether you have 10 kids, you can make it happen. Like, if you really want something out of life, like, you can make it happen. And no, it wasn't a walk in the park. And yes, there's still days that I feel sad and emotional, and I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to go back. I'm not gonna tell that lie. Like, me going back taught me a lesson. Like, I don't want to be here. But you can do it. Like, as long as you put your mind to it, as long as you focus. And another thing that helped me was working out. Like, I'm not anywhere where I want to be, but at the same time, like, since I moved here, I lost 30 pounds. I started going to the gym. There's a gym like right down the street from my house, which is amazing. They have like everything that I want in a gym, a sauna and all these things. Today was my first day that I did classes and stuff like that. But I made it a goal. I was like, okay, I'm going to lose 30 pounds. And I did. And now it's my next goal. Like, okay, what's next? I go out, I hang out. I'm not going to say that I met like a bunch of friends. I've met nice people, and I've met some people that was like, girl, stay away from there. It's like, just don't. You know, it's life. You learn, you know. You learn as you go on, and I'm not old, but I'm not some young spring chicken either. So I can care less about those things. Like, I can miss the partying, and I can miss the hanging out, and I can miss all those things. Because right now, my mind's not focused on those things. Like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to build. I'm here to prosper and to better myself, to better my life, and to better my kids' life in the long run, right? So those aren't my priorities. I will do a part 2 possibly of I'll probably do a part 2 of like the steps that I took. I pretty much think that I went through everything. It was not easy at all. It was not a walk in the park at all. I've cried many nights. I felt helpless. I felt like giving up. I mean, at one point I did give up and went back, right? But when God wants you to walk a certain path, or when you aren't following your destiny, there will be so many blocks in the road, like, to stop you from going a certain way. Like, everything will just be falling apart. And literally, like, everything had to fall apart for me to get this far. And of course, I'm gonna go further and further, because the only way is up. But just keep your faith and keep pushing and believe in yourself, and you'll get everything done that you want to get done in life. You will achieve everything that you want to achieve. Write down your goals. Write down the things that motivate you. Write down your why. That was another thing that I did. I made a vision board. Of like where I wanted to see myself in this year. And of course, sometimes you don't check off all those boxes, but as long as you are taking steps to get there, you cannot make a vision board, and you cannot say, well, I want this, I want that, and think you're gonna just speak it out into existence and not put in the work. Like, if you don't put in the work, nothing will happen. It's like, if you want to lose 20 pounds and you're not eating better, you're not going to the gym, you're not trying to take those steps to get there, like, you're not going to see any of those things. And you cannot get mad at something that you don't put the work into. Like, and I'm not going to lie, I used to do that. Like, oh, everything's falling apart. Like, why am I not getting my way? God, why me? And it's not a why you. It's like, why not you? Like, why aren't you putting in that effort to do what you need to do? Like, why aren't you believing in yourself? Sometimes it's hard, I get it, but you're not always going to have these people behind you. I know I don't. I've lost a lot of people along the way, you know, and it taught me a lot of life lessons. Like, sometimes you're not going to have cheerleaders. You have to be your own cheerleader. And sometimes you're not going to have the money. Sometimes you're not going to have these materialistic things, and that's okay. But one thing's for sure and two things for certain. As long as you're a go-getter and as long as you are taking steps, even if it's baby steps, it's not a rat race. Everybody's journey is different. You can't look at one person's blessings and be like, oh my God, I wish I had this car. I wish I had that. I wish I had their life. You don't know what they've gone through to get that life. They could have sold their soul for that life. Like, you, and the thing is, like, social media will have you thinking like that. Social media will have you like, oh my God, why is everybody coming up on this? And then people were scamming. You see, there was one lady who recently was scamming all these people with the credit, whatever credit scam. Like, acting like she's helping all these people fix their credit, and she's stealing the money. She's scamming them. Come on. And I'm pretty sure there's probably people who went on her page like, oh my God, she's living this lavish life. She's in this country. She's in that country. She bought this G-Wagon. She's driving in a Ferrari. And it's like, she probably sold her soul. Like, you don't know. And I'm not here to talk down on anyone because I don't know what she's been through either. But at the same time, the whole message is like, you don't know what somebody's been through to get what they have, to get as far as they are, you know? So I'm going to leave it at that because I feel like I'm kind of rambling. Said a lot of things that don't even mean anything. But until next time. Oh, and if you guys want to see like how I do my hair, because I cut my locks off recently. And yes, this is my texture. I don't have any perm or anything like that. But if you guys want to see like how I dye my hair or style my hair, whatever the case may be, comment below and let me know, you know? But bye. Thank you for visiting the life of Jessica Linda. And until next time, you guys go get you some. If you like wine, go get you that wine from Aldi's. Peace out.